So in this video, I'm going to continue from where we stopped in our previous video. If you have not seen it, kindly check the description box. So we're making the short part of this two-piece now. First, I folded my fabric into two. Meanwhile, I iron burnt my fabric. Folded my fabric into two. So up here now, I am marking 2 inches. This 2 inches is going to be my folding allowance. I had to put it out of the way first. And then my fabric on fold is slightly more than what I need, but you should have your thigh measurement divided by 2 plus extra 1 inch. So from that first line, I marked the length of my shorts, which is 19 inches. So from here now, I am marking my crotch measurement, which is my hip divided by 4, give me 11.5. I marked that, and then my hip line from the waist 9 inches. I marked the same thing on this side, 11.5 and 9 inches. I'm going to use my ruler to connect both points together into a straight line. Now this is my waistline, this is my hip line, this is my crotch line, and then this is the length of my shorts, and then the extra there is 2 inches for folding when we are done. So on the crotch line, I'm going to mark my thigh measurement divided by 2 plus extra 1 inch, and then I'll mark that. I will also go back and mark my hip measurement divided by 4 this time, and then I'll add extra 1 inch again. Then I'll mark that same hip divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch on the waistline. Then I will connect the both points like so together. Next, I will go ahead and make a curve, making sure it is not too wide. After that, on the hem of the short, I'm going to mark exactly my thigh measurement divided by 2 without the extra 1 inch. Then I will connect to the crotch side like so. And then the next step is to cut. So on this hemline, you can actually measure round the length where you want your length to be and use that measurement depending on how fitted you want it to be. For this, it was going to be free, so I used the same thigh measurement. Next, I'm folding in the seam allowance, the folding allowance before we can cut, just so we don't have any issues with folding later on. So this is me cutting, as you can see. After that, this is almost it for the front piece. Next is time to cut the back. So the back piece, you make sure it's wider by 2.5 inches, and then it's also longer by 2 inches. So on the crotch, it should be extra 2 or 2.5 inches depending on how big you are, and then on the top it should be extra 2 inches or even less depending on how big you are. For me, I used 2 inches here, and I also used 2.5 on the crotch side. Then on this length part, I added extra 2 and then extra 2 on the allowance part as well. After that, I went ahead to connect like so. And then on the hip part, I also added extra 2 inches, and then I connected to the crotch like this. Up here, I added 2 extra 2, and then I'll connect back to the waistline in a slant like so. The back is always higher because of the butt, so that it can accommodate it. Then from there, I am connecting back to the hip line like so, and then it's time to cut. After cutting the two now, I will go ahead and open the side seams for both the front and the back. So next, I'll keep the back piece aside. I'll go sew the crotch part with 1/2 inch, and then we'll work on the pocket for the front. I have this piece of fabric here. It's 13 inches wide and 13 inches long, so 13 by 13. So for the front part now, I am going to place the piece right sides together, so you can use your same fabric if you have enough. So I came down by 7 inches and then went in by half inch on the side. I connected the points like so. So we're going to go sew in that L-shaped manner like so, after which we will just make a notch in that corner like so. That's for one pocket. I'll just pin it so that it does not shift, and we'll do the same thing for the second pocket piece. So right sides together, pocket piece and front trouser piece, short piece. Then I will mark 7 inches down, coming by half inch, again at the top, and then connect, and then we'll go sew that L shape like so. After sewing, this is what we have for the back piece. I've joined the crotch, and then this is what we have for the pocket piece. Go ahead to notch this corner like so, then turn it to the wrong side. After this, we are going to go back and top stitch, iron and top stitch, and then fold the pocket back together like so and close the down part. Then either stitch the up part and the sides or just pin them in place for now. And when you do that, you are going to have something like this for your pocket. So the next step, we are going to join the front pieces right sides together on the crotch side. We're using half inch for that. After joining, it's time to join back and front together. So we're going to place them side by side, right sides together, and then go join the side. So on the side, you're going to make sure that you are not stepping on the pocket. You are sewing just at the sewing on the half inch that is hanging out, then all the way down, and also the inseam. Make sure that that seam is matching. The seam on the crotch is matching. After that, it's time to work on the waistband. So I have my elastic. It is 5 inches less than my actual waist measurement, and then the waistband is 3 inches folded into two, give me 1.5. I added medium gum stay on the waistband, and the waistband width is exactly the waist round after sewing. After joining the front and the back pieces together, I measure around the waist, and this is what I'm using here. So now I am marking half inch down, and then I'll mark another 1 inch space, and then from the top we are going to sew back stitch, leave that 1 inch space, and then sew again and back stitch. This is the part where our elastic is going to pass through when we are done. So after sewing, this is what we have. Next now is time to join it to the waist of the short. So this is it now. I'm going to place one part of the waistband, one side of the waistband on the wrong side, and then we're going to go sew all around. After that, we are going to turn it out to the right side now, push the raw edges in, and then fold the upper part a little, place it on top of it, and go back to sew all the way around. After sewing that space is there, so I'm going to use my safety pin now to pass the elastic through. So I'm going to push it in, making sure that it's not twisted. Just keep pushing and making sure that it's not twisted. I'm also going to pin the other part like this so that it doesn't mistakenly go in all and then I have to start over. So after bringing it out at the other end, we're going to go now and sew the elastics together tightly, after which we'll adjust it so that everything goes back in. So after the elastic has gone in, you can go ahead now, you can leave it like this, or still go and sew like two lines on top of the elastic while pulling, just to give it that design. So next is time to hem the lower part. So I'm going to measure the length of my short, which is 19 inches, and then whatever I have left there is what I will use to fold the short. So for me, I had 2.5 inches, so I'm going to fold in 2.5 inches on the lower part like so. I will make sure that it is 2.5 inches exactly. Keep measuring, and then I will use iron also later. I will repeat the same thing for the other leg as well. Measure and make sure you're measuring the side seam, because if you're measuring on the center, especially the center back, you know that it is higher than the normal length. After that, we have folded hem, we have added the lines on the waistband, and this is it for this short. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.